Okay, this is an interesting one. I want to get rid of stuff I'm not going to use. Yeah, I always hate this thing here. It's a mistake to have that even as an option. I want to make sure I can see everything. Open your eyes, exposes everything in the scene, and I'm going to delete stuff I don't need. Like this one here. What's that? Reflector. And I notice that there's a bunch of constraints on these bones. First, let's have a look at them. They're all boxes. Pose, and you'll see that they don't really move properly. I mean, they are proper for what it's supposed to do, animation, but there are some problems with the rig, and you'll see immediately what I'm talking about once I remove all the constraints. Bento Buddy has a tool for that. Remove constraints, and then I can rotate these bones. Oops. Alright. It's context sensitive, so if it's in object mode, it removes them all. If it's in pose mode, it removes from selected. Now it just removes them all here. Now you see this because it's not parented, so we're gonna have to use the hybrid mapper. Snap mapper isn't going to do it unless we parent that bone to an anchor, which would be the easier thing to do, but the less intuitive for another user. So maybe I'll just do that now. I'm going to try that. Undo that. I'm going to save, and then I'm going to just move that up. Well, first of all, I saved it, so I'm going to all bones Alt-R to see if there's any weird. Okay, the bones aren't transformed. That's good. That's the only good thing we found so far. Now, if I parent this bone to this, it might just snap in. Let's see. Can I do that? Bone. That didn't work. I'm going to need to go into edit mode and shift click that, Control P, keep offset, go back into pose, and it follows. Okay, we can work with that. We'll make sure we do that to any other bones too. So A, Alt R to reset the transforms. Let's do that. Then I'll just pose this when I'm ready, because we will need a T-pose for Second Life and to adjust the fingers. Alright, let's do the other arm. Oh, that didn't goof up. Why that one? Just that one, because the rig is unclean, that's why. And here's another one. We'll run into problems with that, so let's see how much of this foot. Oh dear. We have a lot of problems here. So what I will do is parent this, because that carries everything, to that. Control P. Keep. I'm assuming this one's the same way. Oops. Pose. Yep. Edit. Shift click. Control P. That wasn't supposed to do that. And then both. Oh, it's mirrored. Let's see. That's not a problem, is it? Is it already parented? Let's find out. I don't think it was. Yes, it did it because we had Xmirror on. Neat. Okay, if I had known that, we wouldn't have wasted time. Let's see if anything else is goofed up. That's normal. Alright, now when I messed around with this, I noticed that we had a problem with the hair. We are going to save our work because this might goof up. What is wrong with the hair? Well, it might be the same problem with some other areas. I don't know, we'll run into that maybe, but the hair has a constraint on it, which is just silly. I have no idea why it's doing that. Maybe it's for the game engine that it's built for, but we don't want a constraint. We want the hair to be attached to the head bone. So we're going to freeze this in place. See the influence? If you hit the X, it doesn't remove it, it applies it. Isn't that strange? So we apply that, and then we can remove the child of constraint, and the hair stays. If we didn't do that, it would have exploded and rotated. Now let's see what transforms around the hair. It's all alone by itself, so I'm going to object apply all transforms. Oops, I know what's wrong. I'm going to undo this, or maybe I can just go over to the items that are affecting it and disable those. We don't need these, not for second life, so we're good. And I'll save this again. I know this seems like an awful lot of work, and it can be. If you don't know how to do these things, it could be confusing, or if you don't know why we're doing them. It's so that stuff doesn't move around when we get to work. Really, that's basically what we're doing, making sure that stuff doesn't move around and making sure that things do move with other parts like the bones. So I think everything's all set, except the hair isn't going to work because there's no skinning on it. So let's fix that. I'm going to put a Vertex Group on it, and I don't know what the head is called, so let's have a look at that. And it's called head, so let's name it head. Double click, and I will go into edit mode. Make sure A to select all of the vertices and assign. Now I need an armature modifier on it. Now before I do anything, I want to make sure I apply all transforms to the armature and the rest of the objects. And I'm going to save this in case I goof up. The armature looks fine. Did I already do that? I'm going to just do it again. Apply all transforms. Then I'm going to select everything. Apply all transforms, and something moved, so that's not good. I'm gonna go see why. I'm gonna go see why it moved. It might have constraints on it or some weirdness going on. Modifiers, Subsurf again. I don't think we need that. Well, that's not too bad, actually. That's not too bad. We can apply that, I think. That looks pretty decent. Let's just apply that. And let's look at the solidify. That might be necessary. I think it might be necessary. Let's have a look at that. Backface culling. Yeah, we see right through it. So the solidify is going to be necessary. We will add that, and we should be good. Scale, everything is got some weirdness. Let's do that individually. First, I'm going to save this again, and then I will apply just to this. Apply all transforms, and nothing moved. So that's good. Let's just select the whole thing and do it. And something else moved. Let's go see what else has modifiers on it. We have Subsurf. What does Subsurf do? What do you do? That. Apply that. They're not bad. They're pretty well low poly, so let's just do that. Let's make sure we get all our stuff in there. It's really low poly. It's good. Don't apply the armature modifier. Mirror? Yeah, we definitely want to apply the mirror. And the subsurf, solidify. I think I actually have a tool that does this, but we want to be careful. So apply subsurf. Let's get a view of what we're doing here. Mirror, apply, subsurf, solidify. Mirror, mirror, apply, subsurf, solidify. Okay. The body itself looks fine. What's that? Oh, that was pants. This is the body. Apply mirror, subsurf. Apply. Don't apply the armature modifier, remember. Apply subsurf. Okay. The belt thing here. Everything looks pretty good. Well, anyway, if you forget something, if it looks all wacky, the mesh, that will be the clue what's wrong, and you'll just go back and apply that. Make sure to save the various copies. Let's see if it has eyebrows. I don't see it. Looks like a texture. I think we're all set. I'm going to save this and we're going to start mapping. Save it. So choose the rig and go over to template, visual snap mapper. Okay, we don't want to do that yet. The feet are sunk way down, so let's turn on our gizmo, move it up, and we can't scale it properly. Oh, and the hair is not connected. Let's undo that. Make sure there's an armature modifier. Oops. Choose the armature. Make sure it says armature. That didn't work. Here it is. And if we, let's try in relations. We don't want to parent it also. Okay, now the hair should move in scale with our armature, but we can't scale the armature properly. Let's move it up first. So the feet are resting there, and we can't scale it, and we know we have to because look at this. So choose the rig only. Object set origin to 3D cursor. Now we can scale it properly, and I'll just get the pelvis lined up. And that would be probably this bone here. See the knob there, and line it up with the pelvis on the target rig. Well, that doesn't look good, does it? I think it would look better that way. Yeah, but nope. We're gonna have to have this tall. Yeah, I want the pelvis there because the animations are going to happen from the pelvis. If there's location data in world animations, we're going to have some weird transforms, I think. Well, you can always change it later if there's a problem. Instead of this, you'll do this. Shoulders instead. But we're going to go with pelvis. So you don't have to be exact, but closer is better. Now I can get rid of the reference rig and snap mapper. Choose this rig here and action. I'm going to hide the mesh and start mapping my bones. Now there are from the wrist 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if the rig is the same. And that's not the bone we want. That's the bone. And that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's a good count. So I already have the correct wrist bone selected, and I know that because the fingers are moving with it. I'll select that. I'll tell my mapper that there are 4 in the chain and say fill. And we'll do that with the other side too. Make sure we have the correct bone. That's not it. That is. Click that and click fill. There's a lot of tools here for various tasks. Make this quicker for you. Now, how many chains are in the foot? Let's make sure we have the mesh that goes with it. So that's not the whole mesh. That's the whole foot. And I'm not sure we can rely on. We're going to go from the hip. We're going to start from the hip down. I'll hide this. And we know that that's definitely a bone we want. So I'm going to map these bones. Then I'm going to map these bones. And get the other side done just for now. And now we're looking for the foot bone. Whatever carries the other bones, and I think that's it. In order to find out, we have to see the mesh. That's the right one. So click that one, map these bones, and then hide the mesh, and now we know which one it is. Map these bones. Okay. What else we got? The spine. We're going to start with the head. We have typical head and neck, so we will do those. Which one's that skull? We don't want to map that. We have head and M head and map these bones. Then we have neck, and the next one is M neck, map these bones. Now, oftentimes characters will have one or two more spine bones that we can't use. Make sure this is the correct one, and that's the correct one. We'll make that as the chest, and then we might need to skip one. I'm not sure. In order to find out, let's find the pelvis first. The pelvis is responsible for moving the entire set. Sometimes there's also a root bone. Okay, that's not the pelvis, so be careful. Okay. Now they might be working in conjunction. So we're going to have to. We might have to use the hybrid mapper to combine these, because I think they're working in conjunction. You see that? Yeah. So what I will do is choose the one that has the correct angle, which is this one. I'll map that to pelvis. Alright. But we're not done. We're going to have to go over to the the hybrid mapper. Now, we wouldn't have to do that if this was a child of that bone, but it's not. It's a parent, which means maybe I will swap this and we might be okay. I'll unmap that and I'll choose the other bone instead. We might be able to get away with that. And luckily we only have this one more bone to do. And we'll just map what's left right there. And we have the fingers. The fingers are actually kind of easy. Let's go into a front. Whoops, we don't want to do that. I'll rotate them to match the other ones here, like that. Now, whenever I map a bone, all the unused bones are snapped back into place. And I'll show that happening right now. For instance, let's say I wanted to map this thumb here. I say map these and all my hand bones move back to where they belong. We don't want that, and I'm going to undo that. What I do want to do, go back here and select this, rotate again, just to get a visual so I don't lose my spot. Put that next to the other ones. And I know you're going to think, oh, that's going to happen again, and it won't, because I click on the release, and that will allow them to stay where they are. Bring these forward, and bring these forward. Now I can map them in chains, and there's 3, and they all look to be proper. We have 3 bone chains. So we'll start with a thumb, and we'll tell our mapper that there's 3 and fill. And we'll just keep doing that until it's done. And I'm gonna pause the video and do the other hand. You don't have to watch this. And the last one. Okay. Our character is complete. And I can reset the stage and the map stays on it. Show mesh. And I'm going to save this. The last thing I want to do is generate a rig for a reference, and I can scale that up. It's no big deal. It's just a reference. I get a front view. I'm going to choose my brand new character rig and put it in pose. That's ooh, where did I go? I'm going to turn on to see if that works for us. Oh, great. Perfect. Alright. We'll do the T-pose first. Make sure the arms are right. Make sure we got the legs good. They shouldn't be spread that much. That's fine. And then we have the thumb. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a serious problem. We need to not just move but rotate this bone. And in order to do that, we need to get the right angle. So rotate this way and move it up. And you're gonna have to spend some time doing this. And that doesn't look too bad. Your mileage may vary. And what you want to do is get them about the same angle as the bones here. And this one looks close. And you probably only ever have to adjust the root of the fingers. And the middle finger is off for our purposes. And the other side should have already been done. Now, if you want to save this pose, we want to go over, and I forget the name of this. If I go File, Open Recent, the name will be Mikasa, I guess. So we'll call the pose library that. Go into animation, and then pose library. Add this pose, and I'll rename it T-pose. T-pose, and I will save the library Mikasa. That way we can always get this pose back. And this will be my base material. Whoops. I went to edit mode. That was a mistake. Alright. That arm looks a little bit too far up. I think I'll change that and resave the pose. Is it just might be that a little bit and that a little bit, and I'll resave the pose here. Remove the old T-pose and call this T-pose, and save the library. Let's do a search here so I know what I called it. Save it. And now it's ready to be converted. Save it before you convert it. Now I'm going to do a real conversion, not a safe one. So I'm just going to say convert and see what we get. Export for Second Life, because I already saved the file and I can always reload it. Now these custom characters have to be uploaded with joint positions. Now this is going to take a little while because there are multiple parts. Not because it's that complicated. It's actually a decent after. Lowest. Nope, it's a little complicated. Cube. That's fine. You can combine this whole thing to have a quicker upload test. And then keep it uncombined if you want the versatility in world. The legs could come a little closer together, but I think we're okay for now, for a test. Upload. There we go. Double click. Let's see what we got. Not bad. Legs definitely have to come together. Let's do a fun dance. Alrighty. Have fun.